I've been a big admirer of Johnny franchise for years and years. We became acquainted back, when we were working with JBF together, and you helped us with some advisory board things, and I really saw how much you understood franchising and that you knew the good, the bad, and the ugly, the inside and the out. You'd been a franchisor, you'd been a franchisee, and that there was just a wealth of information in your head that I wanted in mine. And so whenever you started this, I knew that anytime I spent, and even to this day, anytime I spend talking with you, I come away with more value than I gave. And I appreciate that about that. So when you formed a group, I knew I wanted to be in on that. I wanted to be in on that because I knew it was going to be done with excellence and that there would be good people there. And
Wonderful.
so that's why I made my decision. I was like, okay, this is Johnny franchise deal. I got to be a part of that. He attracts good people. I want to be a part of that. And so the rest is history. Hoping to get out of it was to sometimes franchising, being a franchisor can be a lonely existence because it isn't like you can confide in your franchisees. The people you spend all your time with, your franchisees, your team, there are things that you cannot problem solve and confide in them in because they can be very, very deep things that require a lot of back and forth. And, you want to make certain that they feel that you have a steady hand on the ship. And so when I got into this, I wanted to be able to problem solve with other people who did what I do. And so that it wouldn't, all my ideation and implementation of ideas weren't just coming out of my one brain. I wanted to tap into other brains. And so instead of me just problem solving for myself, I now have 4 or 5 brains, really smart ones, helping me problem solve. So it's allowed me to have a much, much deeper perspectives on things and better perspectives than I could get on my own. Honestly, I think what surprised me is that, and I feel funny saying this, but I found I know more than I thought I knew. When I first came in, when people would present their issues, I'd be like, I know the answer to that. I know what they can do. And, sometimes you get so caught up in your own little world that you can't really even get outside of it. Mm-hmm. And it validated that I have experience and I have things that will help others and help each other a lot. So I feel like I'm not only getting from the mastermind, I'm also able to give to the mastermind too. So it feels like there's a lot of reciprocity with our group, and I really love that part of it. I think that it has given me a lot of clarity, and that's such a good choice of word because, again, with leadership sometimes being a lonely road, you question yourself whether or not you're making the right decisions, and getting validation from other leaders who do what you do to help guide you in your path. And when you're thinking, I am thinking of this the direction it needs to go, or here's another direction, another way to look at things. And so there's just so much benefit to having other smart brains in the same room at the same time, problem solving, and not having it just be yours. I would say as far as concrete change goes, it's given me, when I've had to deal with difficult situations, it's given me more knowledge and more strength to go ahead and confront the difficult situations. That there's times in franchising, especially when we're working for passionate founders, passionate owners. I'm a hired gun. I'm a C-suite hired gun person. I don't own a franchise system. I go to work for people who do own franchise systems. Mm-hmm. But I have been able to hear from other people when I'm dealing with a difficult situation. One in particular comes to mind about a personnel issue that I had, where we had someone that was very, very valuable they just knew everything about the industry, but then they felt like they could just kind of run the company because of that and held that information hostage from us. Mm-hmm. Like, well, if you guys don't do what I do, I'm going to up and quit. And then you're really going to be out of luck. Right. I learned from our group by problem solving through that, how to confront that. And I was reminded at that time that the people like that, they don't stay around long anyway. So it was going to be a matter of time before that guy was going to walk and I might as well get ready for him to walk now. And that's my concrete takeaway, that I don't think I could have ever gotten there on my own. I think I would have held on to him for dear life. The value has certainly, Johnny, always tapping into your smart brain, because you know so much about franchising. It's like Johnny GPT. Whenever I need to know something, I can ask you, and you've already lived it and done it. And then also, I love the relationships with the other people in the group, because we not only meet when we meet once a month when we're at our various conferences, we have meetups and we're tightly connected, and we have relationship, and we know what each other is going through in our professional struggles, our personal struggles at times even. And we just have a deep empathy for each other. We're all rooting for each other and cheering each other on. So I think it's just relationship, and taking there's wonderful people in franchising, but being able to be at a deeper level of relationship with some very key leaders in franchising. Okay, I do love the infrastructure, because I'm an infrastructure girl. I'm an integrator. So this is my jam. I like that we're not just, we all have to come, you have to do your homework. You have to have it turned in on time, and you have to stick to the script. And I think if we didn't do that, I would be really frustrated. If it just was one big talk, we're talking in circles and that type of thing. We come in, we know exactly what we're going to cover. We know what we're going to problem solve, and we stay on task to get it done. Everyone leaves with takeaways of what they can do next in their before the next meeting. I really like how we also hold each other accountable. Johnny, you're really good at saying, last month you talked to us about XYZ. How's that going? So you don't let us drop it. And that's a good thing, because leaders need someone to help them stay accountable to themselves. I think what makes this group different is that we've all made a major commitment to be there. It takes time and it takes money, something that always runs, those two things run everything we do, right? And you have to put in the time. And so everyone has done that. Everyone has also made the investment in it. And I look at it truly as an investment. It's not an inexpensive thing to do, but it wouldn't be, right? Because we're being led by one of the top people in franchising, and we're circling up a group of leaders who are also at the top of the game in franchising. It's going to cost an investment for people. So I think when people are looking at this, they need to look at it and say, what kind of investment am I making in myself as a leader? Because this is the kind of thing that will help you become a better leader, because you're not just relying on yourself, you're relying on all these other smart people in franchising who have walked these paths and can help you with the many issues we deal with all day, every day. I think it's right for people who want to grow their businesses. They specifically want to grow in the area of their franchisee, the royalty growth. They want to grow their franchise development. They want to help their franchisees become more profitable. They want to expand on the culture of their company. These are the kind of people that are in our group. These are all people that have these things in mind, that these are the ways we're going to be running our businesses. It's not for people who aren't willing to make the commitment. If you don't show up, if you're just a checkbook member, you need to stay home and hang on to your money, because you get out of this group what you put into the group. And so by making that investment every month in the group, as far as your time, getting your homework done, that's the kind of, you've got to be that kind of person. If you're not going to take the time for that, you should save your money and not do it. I strongly believe in the group, and believe that I just think we get better whenever that iron sharpens iron thing. We're better when we're around other strong leaders. Considering joining, I would be happy to talk to them personally. Always, Johnny, if you ever need that, let me know. And then they need to come and visit at least one time, give it a try and sit in on it, and let them kind of get a feel for what it is. I don't think we as leaders, I think as leaders, I know this, we do not invest in ourselves nearly enough. We invest in all kinds of other things, but actual investment in yourself to make yourself a stronger, better leader, We just need help on that every single day. We need to be growing our leadership every day because leadership changes every day. And so this is a place that you can do that. It also is a way to stay on the forefront of what's going on in franchising, because I can turn to the group and say, does anyone know what's going on with this? And with that collective mind, the collective minds in the group, someone will know what's going on.
Mhm.
And so we're able to gain information we wouldn't know otherwise. It's for people who are growth minded and willing to do the work in order to be able to expand themselves as leaders. No, I think the only thing I would add is that I do too. I also want to see the masterminds grow. I think they'll be better with a little bit larger group of people,
Mhm.
and because then you just have more collective minds. And then it's just more people you have a great relationship with, because you can't be a part of these for very long without getting a tight relationship with people. Because people like Charles and Aaron from our group,
Mhm.
we've both been at it a while now, and we're tight. When we see each other, like we're hanging out together, and we're up on each other's lives all the time. So, I would love to see us have more of those kind of people, because I love the feeling of an inner circle, that we know each other, we know what's going on, we know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're supporting each other through all that.